Hi everyone. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an exercise on Excel and show you how we do perform calculations. Okay. So first I'm going to type up the exercise and I always start at A1. Obviously, depending on what question you get. So I'm going to make sure that I have my caps lock on and I'm typing up a job shadowing opportunities in South Africa. So I'm hoping that you will, for 2017 to 2019. Okay. The next one says I need to type up department. Okay, and then in B3 I have to type in year. But before I do that, you'll notice that department appears like it's moved over to B3. However, it's all in A3. How do I know that? So just so that you can have a look at your formula bar. So this is called your formula bar. If you leave your cursor on it, you'll notice the little box comes up and it says formula bar. So all I have to do is I need to increase my column width. So if I increase it, and there I've increased my column width. Okay, so you'll notice that all the information was entirely in A3. It was never in B3. So if you're looking at your function area, your formula bar, you'll notice that nothing was in B3. Okay, so there we have it. In B3, I am supposed to type in year, okay, in caps, and then in B5, I will be typing in B5, I'll be typing in 2017, I'll type in 2018, and the next one is 2019. But I don't know if you remember how we use the autofill. So for this series, I've got a series of a year. So I could use the autofill function here and then drag it across. Okay, whichever one you prefer doing. And there you have it. Okay, so you can either type it up or you can use the autofill function and drag it down. So the first one that they're talking about, information technology, and then we've got education, and then we have health. Okay, so you'll notice that again this appears that it's moved over to B6, but all I'll do is I'll either keep on clicking and drag it, or I will double click it, and as soon as I double click it, it actually extends it right to the end of this little cell over here. But what you could do is you can just drag it to the end of the longest word or words in the cell in the column A. Okay, so this is how you'd go about doing that. You'll go to information technology, and I've got some values that I'm typing in. Okay, that's for information technology, for education. We've got 5,005. We've got okay, and then for health, we have okay, so once we've typed up the numbers, all I'm going to do now is I'm going to type up Yeah, so once I've got all my numbers, what I do want to show you is just a few calculations. Okay, so if you'll notice over here, calculations or formulas always start with an equal to sign. Okay, so you've got autosum, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, as well as average. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how we use addition. Okay, so let's do that. So how do we do that? We'll say if we wanted to add information, we'll say equal to. Like you say, you always start a formula with an equal sign. You click on the information technology. So basically, if you'd like to know the job shadowing opportunities in South Africa for 2017, you'd say is equal to B6. Can you notice it actually picks up the information from B6? And then you can press the plus sign on your numerical keypad and select the next one that you'd like to add. And then you would click on the next plus sign as well, and then click on the last cell. And you'll notice it picks up all the information according to those cell references. Okay, so that is one way of doing an addition sum. You'll also notice the next one is addition, but a quick way which you will be taught is how to use the Autosum function, and that's generally what we will be doing. So how do we use the Autosum function? And that's the symbol for Autosum. I'm just going to bring this up a bit, so I'm going to delete some rows. Notice how I'm deleting some rows, and I'll right click and just press delete, okay, so that I can view it. So we've got Autosum, and so what I'm going to do to use the Autosum function, I'm going to highlight. So we now highlight those, and I'd like to create the totals for each one. So what I'll do is I'm just going to type in total over here, and then I will highlight those three, and I will select Autosum. So where's Autosum found? It's under the home ribbon. If I'm looking on the far right, you'll notice that if I click on the down arrow, I have various formulas that I could use, which is sum, average, count numbers, maximum, and minimum. Okay, and more functions. So you can either select sum, or as soon as I select sum, there my Autosum, I have summed all three figures. Okay, if you're looking at the formula bar, you'll notice it gives you the formula. It says is equal to sum, open brackets, B6 to B8. So B6 to B8 is the range that it's picking up. So you've got B6, there's B6 to B8, and that is your sum function. So the next function we've covered Autosum, addition, subtraction is the same things, but before we do that, we could also autofill the following values as well for 2018 and 2019. So what we're going to do is we can keep our click in and drag that autofill function across. So you'll notice it's also summing these values, but these values are in column C, and then it's also summing these three values, and they're in column D. Okay, so there we have it. So we've got our, we've done our Autosum, shown you how to create addition sums, subtraction sums. So for example, if they wanted to ask us to please display the difference between, say for example, the total for 2019 and 2018. So we could type in difference, and in that let's just insert a row. And then basically what we do is we will always start a formula with an equal sign. So the difference between 2018 and 2019 would be that 2019 subtract 2018, and that is the difference. Okay, so we've got 6,149 more jobs than in 2018. Okay, so if you're looking at the formula, you'll notice always starts with the equal sign, and you select your cells, and that's how you can use your subtraction sum as well. So the same thing happens with multiplication. If you were to multiply, you'd use the multiplication sign. If you were to divide, you would use the / sign, and that is found, those are found on your keyboard on the numerical keypad on your right. Okay, so let's just work on division and average, and just to show you how that is used. Okay, so basically, if we were to create the average, how would we create the average? So, for example, if I were to leave the average over here, I'm going to type in average, or let's actually create the average over here. Yeah, so let's type in average. Okay, we want to know what was the average job shadowing opportunities we had for across those 3 years. Okay, so what was the average of the job shadowing opportunities for the 3-year period? So what will we do? There's an average formula that we could use. Okay, and that is also found on the home ribbon under Autosum, where the list of formulas are found, and there you'll find it over there. There's the average. So what are we going to do? We want to know what's the average for information technology. So we'll highlight those 3, and we'll merely go to average, and we'll select average, and there it gives us the average number of job shadowing opportunities. Okay. Again, we can use the Autofill function and drag it down. Okay, so those are the average job shadowing opportunities for those 3 years for the different departments. If we were to use a normal, so basically what's happening here is this is your average for the 3 years. I could also calculate the average in a different way, and I'm going to show you how we do that. So how we would do that is, I'm just going to insert a column over here just so that we have our total. And so what's the total for this year for each department? Obviously I can then use, you remember, I can use the Autosum function, and then it selects all 3. So there's more than one way. The first method I showed you was to highlight those 3 information, and then you'll get your sum. Another way was to actually just leave your cursor there and it select Autosum, and it will highlight those 3 as well. Okay, so there's more than one way of doing things in Excel. And then we can use the Autofill function again. And here we've given you the total per department. Okay, so this is the total per department, and that's the average that was calculated using the formula. I'm now going to show you how to use the average using the formula. Using a different method. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to say is equal to the total divided by what? Divided by 3 years. So we're going to have divided by 3, and there we get the same value. Okay, it was just calculated differently. And again, I am just using that and dragging it down to get